We've all been there. That moment when your brain just hits a wall. Well, today we're going to try and hack that feeling. We'll break down the science of mental burnout and uncover some really simple, research-backed fixes. So let's get right into it.
Right? It's that feeling. You've been working or studying for hours, and then suddenly you just can't focus, you can't think straight. Even the simplest tasks feel like climbing a mountain. It's like your mental battery is just completely dead. And hey, if you feel this way, you are so far from alone. A recent study found that this number, almost 22% of people, report feeling this deep, kind of persistent fatigue on the regular. And this isn't just about being tired, it's a huge issue that impacts our work, our safety, and just our overall well-being.
Okay, so what's actually happening inside our heads when we feel like this? Before we can find a fix, we really need to look under the hood and understand the science of a fatigued brain.
So researchers have a name for this. They call it mental fatigue, and it's a specific psychobiological state. This isn't just about needing more sleep. It's the direct result of your brain working super hard for a long, long time. And that's what leads to those classic feelings of just total exhaustion and a complete lack of energy. And get this, it's not just a feeling, it's actually measurable. Scientists can hook you up to an EEG and literally see your brain activity change. They spot this spike in what are called alpha waves, which is basically your brain's clear signal for, all right, I'm checking out now. Ultimately, it really all comes down to brain chemistry. As you think hard, your brain starts producing more of a chemical called adenosine. Now think of adenosine as your brain's brake pedal. And as it builds up, it starts to block dopamine, which is your brain's gas pedal, right? It's the molecule for motivation and reward. So you've got more brake, less gas, and pretty soon you just grind to a halt. So if it's a chemical problem, can we find a solution that doesn't involve, well, other chemicals? One group of scientists designed a really fascinating experiment to find out, and this is where it gets super interesting.
The setup is pretty straightforward. First, participants did a simple motor control test, basically just an arm-pointing task to get a baseline. Then they got hit with this tough 32-minute cognitive task that was specifically designed to make them mentally tired. After that, they got a 20-minute break. Some of them just talked with the experimenter, some listened to music, and others did some light exercise. And then finally, they did that motor control test one more time.
The big question they were trying to answer was simple. Could something as basic as music or a little bit of movement actually fight off the negative effects of mental fatigue on your performance without having to reach for a cup of coffee? All right, now here is the wild twist, and it came from the control group. Those were the folks who just chatted during their break. Subjectively, they felt better. They reported feeling less tired. But look at their performance. It actually got worse. This points to a really dangerous disconnect. You can feel like you're recovering, even when your brain's performance is still totally tanking. So, if just kicking back and chatting doesn't actually work, what does? Let's check out the results from the other two groups and see how music and movement can make a real, measurable difference. And the results here are just crystal clear. I mean, look at the difference. While the control group's performance went downhill, the groups that listened to music or did some physical activity, they held steady. Their motor control didn't get worse. These simple breaks literally stopped the performance slide that mental fatigue causes. So why were these strategies so effective? Well, it probably comes right back to that brain chemistry we talked about. Both listening to music you enjoy and doing some moderate exercise are known to give your brain a nice little boost of dopamine. And that dopamine hit can counteract the braking effect of all that adenosine that built up, pretty much getting your brain back in gear. But, performance isn't the whole story, is it? What about managing all the anxiety and stress that often comes along with mental burnout? Well, a second study explored another really cool approach using simple sensory tools. This approach is called sensory modulation. The easiest way to think of it is as a bottom-up strategy. So instead of a top-down method where you try to reason with your anxiety, you use direct physical sensations, touch, scent, movement, to send calming signals from your body up to your brain. You're changing how you feel from the ground up. So in this study, a group of students were given a toolkit of really simple, portable items. We're talking about things like scented putty, fidget toys like tangle teasers, and simple hand or massage balls. And they were told to just use them for 2 weeks, especially during lectures or when they were studying. And the results were pretty amazing. As you can see on this chart, a full 75%,
3/4 of the students said that these simple little tools helped them manage their anxiety. And just as important, they said it helped them engage more effectively with their studies. This quote from one of the students just perfectly captures why this works. They found that the physical sensation was this really powerful way to get a break from a racing mind. It gave them a tangible anchor that let them shift their focus away from all that overthinking. Okay, so let's put this all together. We've looked at the science, we've looked at 2 different studies. Now let's build your own personal toolkit for fighting mental fatigue based on everything we've just learned. So what we really have are 2 distinct but really complementary strategies. If your main goal is to keep your performance from dropping, that first study shows that a 15-minute break for a walk or some music is incredibly effective. But if your goal is more about just supporting your general well-being and managing anxiety, that second study suggests that simple sensory tools can be a super powerful way to self-regulate. So the big takeaway here is this: you don't always have to think your way out of mental fatigue. Simple, physical, body-first actions like moving, listening, or even fidgeting can have a really profound and immediate impact on your brain's chemistry and how you feel.
So I'll just leave you with this question. Based on all this, what's one small physical strategy that you're going to add to your own mental fatigue toolkit? Thanks so much for tuning in.